The two sides of Scotland's gender law debate. The diamond grass of Cathkin Park is glinting in the winter sun as Ellie Gomersall reflects on something intensely personal, her identity. It is a bitterly beautiful December day on the south side of Glasgow, and Ms. Gomersall, 23, is telling us about coming out as a woman. It was, she says, a really happy, joyous moment, thanks to the support of friends and family. But the bureaucracy she then encountered was less enjoyable. Ms. Gomersall describes a lengthy, and continuing, wait to be seen at a gender identity clinic, and a struggle to accumulate the paperwork required to demonstrate to the world that she is not a man. I often joke that the hardest thing about being trans is the admin, she says with a wry smile. Ms. Gomersall is currently president of the National Union of Students Scotland, although she is speaking to BBC News in a personal capacity. Nearly 5 years after coming out, she has been able to amend her passport and driving license, which now reflect her preferred identity, listing her sex as female. Her birth certificate, however, still records that she was born male. If she were to marry or die any time soon, the marriage or death certificates also would state that she was a man. That means, she says, that at present, I can't guarantee that I'll have dignity in death. For the past 17 years, the process for changing sex on a birth certificate has been set out in the Gender Recognition Act 2004, enacted by the Westminster Parliament in April 2005. Applicants must first obtain a gender recognition certificate, the criteria for which are detailed in the legislation. The current requirements in UK law for a gender recognition certificate are: the applicant must be aged 18 or over, a medical report confirming a diagnosis of gender dysphoria, which is described by the NHS as a sense of unease that a person may have because of a mismatch between the biological sex and their gender identity. A second medical report detailing any treatment, such as hormone therapy, and/or any surgery related to the diagnosis. Evidence of living in acquired gender for 2 years. An oath of intention to live in acquired gender until death. Approval from a UK government-appointed panel of 2 members, 1 legal and 1 medical. The Scottish Government, led by the Scottish National Party but also including ministers from the Scottish Green Party, of which Ms. Gomersall is a member, wants to remove some of those hurdles, making the process quicker and easier. If the Gender Recognition Reform Scotland Bill becomes law, it would include these changes. The age limit for applications will be cut from 18 to 16. The requirements for medical reports, including a gender dysphoria diagnosis, will be dropped. The period applicants are required to live in their acquired gender will be reduced from 2 years to 3 months, and, after an amendment to the legislation was accepted by ministers, to 6 months for 16 and 17-year-olds. The addition of a 3-month reflection period before a gender recognition certificate is issued. Applications will be handled by the Registrar General for Scotland instead of the UK panel. Ms. Gomersall is a strong supporter of the legislation, which she says would make her life easier and more dignified. She argues that gender identity should not be a matter for the state. I think ultimately the only person who can really describe my own identity, my own gender, is me, she insists. She explains that she has been unable to change her birth certificate because she has been unable to acquire a gender recognition certificate, because she has been unable to obtain an initial appointment, let alone a diagnosis of gender dysphoria or the required medical reports, at Glasgow's Sandyford Gender Identity Clinic, one of 4 such facilities run by NHS Scotland. The Scottish Government has attempted to present the bill as an administrative tidying up exercise designed to simplify and streamline the process in a manner which is more respectful of the privacy and dignity of trans men and women. Opponents of the bill, led by the author J.K. Rowling, feel it goes much further than that. The Harry Potter creator set out her concerns in detail 2 years ago in a 3,700-word post on her website. The Scottish Government's plans, she wrote, will in effect mean that all a man needs to become a woman is to say he's one. In the article, Ms. Rowling expressed sympathy with vulnerable trans people who need and deserve protection, and said she wants trans women to be safe. At the same time, I do not want to make natal girls and women less safe. When you throw open the doors of bathrooms and changing rooms to any man who believes or feels he's a woman, and, as I've said, gender confirmation certificates may now be granted without any need for surgery or hormones, then you open the door to any and all men who wish to come inside. That is the simple truth.